I want to introduce you right now to a notorious sinner. Ladies and gentlemen, Pat BIGGS. Come here. Come on, Pat BIGGS! There should be a mic for Pat. There was another cordless. Oh, it's right here. David, can you turn it on? Is this it? Is this a good one? Make sure it works. Hey, I like his voice. He's got a George Clooney voice. Brad Pitt hair. And Tom Cruise height. He's the full package. The full package. The full package. All right, is it working? All right. I asked Pat to share a story with you guys in less than 5 minutes about Pat deserved to get locked up for a very, very long time. And by the way, Rod, when you said this morning, I've been in law enforcement for 34 years. My entire church over here all put their head down. My little brother from Washington went, I don't know. And then when you said Tulare County, they were like this, except for one dude. I'll point him out to you. Everybody else, oh, good. Pat deserved, let me tell you something. Pat was, for those of you who don't know his testimony, he's not going to give his whole testimony, but he ran with the mafia in Oakland, and Pat used to help protect one of the big mafia leaders. When they went to collect money, Pat was he was muscle for him. So Pat ends up branching out on his own, and he becomes a pretty big drug dealer. And I told Pat, I don't want you to share that part of it because we don't want to give glory to that part of it. We want to give glory to God. All that lands him in jail one day, facing federal charges. Tell them what happened.
Well, we've got to go back. I'm 61, so think about it. We got to go back to 1988. And so from the young kid, very successful, tons of money, blah, 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 all that, I am looking at conspiracy charges, 25 minimum to 35 or to maximum life. So I'm going to take you to Fresno County Jail. I'm sitting in Fresno County Jail facing charges, and all kinds of other people that I know are they're out. They just got me. They thought they had the big guy. So I'm in Fresno County Jail, and I'm trying to get just bailed out. Back in those days, they had something called the RICO Whack, where the feds could take all of your money, all your possessions, so you'd be weaker, and then you can't defend yourself. Today, the laws are the opposite. But in my day, I didn't have enough money to defend myself. So I had a federal defender. So I have a very, very weak defense. Terrible, right? The United States of America versus Patrick Dunn Biggs. I was a hero. In my mind, I was a hero, and I became a zero. As I was waiting to go after denied bail hearing after bail hearing after bail hearing, I found myself one afternoon. The way it worked is I had to come out of, and I can remember this stuff, this is significant. 4C5 is where I was. 4th floor, cell 5, whatever. And they had to take me downstairs, and I had to go into a holding cell where I would then get on a bus, and they would take me to the federal building. If I went in front of a judge, they gave me a suit that was hanging up. Put this suit on, comb your hair. So they would give me a comb, and they would give me a sack lunch, and I had my jellies on, and my jumpsuit was red because I was high power, which means I have to be in my cell by myself because snitches get stitches, right? So there was some people that maybe didn't make it. In my lifetime, in that early year, there was a pretty rough crowd. So here I'm in jail cell. This is like the 8th time that I'm trying to go in front of a U.S. magistrate just to get bail. I can't bail myself out. So just listen to that for a minute. Now think about this. If I'm in there 9 months, what's going on outside the jail? What's going on outside? There's got to be something going on. I don't even know. I can't even communicate with anybody. Now, I did bump into somebody in a corridor one time, and I went, whoa, you're here? It was somebody I knew, so I knew the feds were doing something. So to be clear, Fresno County Jail is a federal holding facility. That's why I was in Fresno County Jail. So 9 months, no bail, can't get a hearing. I'm done. I mean, I'm at the lowest point of my life. My wife's not even visiting me anymore. I have 3 daughters. I was a millionaire. I'm nobody. And on top of that, I'm by myself. I'm done. I'm done. So I'm sitting in this jail cell. It's all stainless steel. I can remember it. The doors have got the unbreakable glass and it slams, you hear it. And as I'm sitting in there, a guy comes into my cell with me. And I've been there all day. You know how long you've been there because you're down to maybe celery sticks, because they give you stuff, right? Sandwiches first. Oh, I'm down to my celery sticks. I must have been there all day. And this guy comes in, and the only thing I could really remember is he had black hair. But he was reading something. He was on the other side of the room. He was reading something very small. And when you've been in jail a long time, anything that you could read, oh man, hope it's Playboy or whatever, and I could get it from the dude. Right? You know, I'm thinking, you know, I wish I could get some, but we kind of talked a little bit, and I mentioned that I was waiting to go to my bail hearing. And he said, well, court's over. You're done. There's, it's like 4:30 or something. When I came in here, it's already too late. I'm done. I'm so done. I'm beyond. There's no faith. And I'm not really a believer. Got to remember, I didn't grow up with Jesus. My mentors were Italian mafia. They taught me how to be a man. I didn't go to jail. I didn't go to church. I went to church. It was a funeral. So I'm done, and I'm talking to this dude. They call him out. I'm going to show you something that's very, very important to me. This is 30 years old. This is my jailhouse Bible. One of my wives washed it. When I went to race in my cars, after, I got out, I wore this. Was in my pocket. But this is a jailhouse Bible. And so this guy threw this Bible to me, and my tattoo says in Matthew, I was in prison and you come to visit me. And if you could see, that is me catching this Bible. My arms are tattoos of testimony. A testimony, it has to be shared so it could show the glory of God, what he's done in your life. I can't be talking about, and that's why Eli opened this is what's past. I don't want God to be glorified in us because I want to tell you what God did for me. How did he bring me here to be a chairman of Armin? For that matter, right? So I'm in this room, and I start looking at the Bible for the first time. And in the back of the Bible, it says, feeling sad? Well, yeah, I'm still feeling sad. And it says, well, look up Psalm something. And I read that for the first time. The Lord is ministering to me. I guess. It says, feeling angry? I go, like, yeah, I'm angry. And it told me to look up Romans. And as I started reading the Bible, I forgot all of my worries. I forgot about it. I really did. And I remember pounding on the door and asking the guard to come up because I want to know, when am I going to get out? If I'm going to go back to my room, fine. But I got this, and I hid it under my armpit because it became valuable to me. Not being a believer, not have anybody minister to me, this was something I knew that had balance in my life. It was significant already. And it was an early time that Jesus was speaking to me. I had no idea what I was in for. I had no idea what the Lord would do for me. So I pound on the door and I'm telling the jailer, who's that guy that was here? How come he got to go and I can't go? And the jailer goes, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? I go, I got this right here. This was handed to me. I go, no, that guy with black hair, he was here about 20 minutes ago. He got to go to court. How come I can't go to court? He goes, you're an idiot. What are you talking about? Some smack Miss Biggs or whatever. And he told me, he goes, I'm supposed to be watching you. You're a high power. No one's allowed in your room with you. And I go, yeah, but the guy. So do you think it's possible, gentlemen, that you could have a visitor that will come and knows that Look, we're all sons. We're in the lineage of, we're Jesus' bloodline, Adam's bloodline. We're made in his image. He'll come after you when you're your lowest and you're finally, he knew, man, I had to wait. And you know, he put me in that jail cell so long that my conspiracy charge became weaker and weaker and weaker. Because outside, everybody started doing crazy stuff. Somebody blew up a house. They didn't have anything on me. They go, we got to do something. They gave me bail. It's called pretrial release. I didn't even have to use bail. I got out, and then I fought my case. And you know what I did? In the very end, when I came up and they said, before I got charged, they were going to charge me. I didn't know what was going to happen. I began to have faith as a mustard seed, right? I learned what Jesus said. I began to have faith, and I told my lawyer, Victor Chavez, man, I can't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday, but I can remember 30 years ago. I don't need you to speak for me. And the U.S. attorney that was going against me, his name was Pat something, and I'm going in front of this judge. Was the first time he ever ruled on anybody in a federal court. I can't think of his name. He's already a retired judge right now. And I thought, this is serious. And I'm looking at the big picture. And I said the things that I wanted to say. And when it was all said and done, they gave me 2 years. 1 year time served and 1 year in a halfway house. And I went to Turning Point. And from there, I worked on my business, and I worked on my family. I worked on my life. And I'll tell you what, if God can work on me, a sinner, and a guy that still messes up, trying to be a men's pastor today, what can he do for you? Just have faith what God can do.
All right. Thanks, Pat.